Hello there, my name is Mazzy. I'm here tonight to bring you a general reading. This is a reading for the collective. This reading will be based around the energies that are brought to us by the second Aquarius full moon. The last Aquarius full moon was last month, and this Aquarius full moon will go direct at 8:01 Eastern time tomorrow morning, which is Sunday. This full moon is a special one because, like I kind of said in my last reading, it's the second in a row. So the energies have been pretty intense in that sense. This moon is a lot about self-assurance and empowerment, using your voice, being confident in the things that you have to say, and in kind of just in yourself in general. So I love that theme. That's kind of what all of Leo season has been about and is about. This moon also really asks us to challenge our relationship with emotion, and to kind of think about how we use our emotion. This moon also really highlights our need for freedom, and it also asks us to bring kind of our negative emotions to the forefront and address our fear and our anger and our jealousy, and those sorts of things. So that's a really big theme at this time as well. Like I mentioned, the sun is in Leo right now. Leo season, happy birthday to all my Leos out there. I hope it's been a good year for you, a good Leo season for you. And so the sun is in the 29th degree of Leo right now, which is an anaretic degree, which pretty much just means it's kind of at its most intense peak energy at the 29th degree. Currently the moon in Aquarius is conjunct with Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion. So there's a really big boost in luck right now, as well as optimism. So kind of going off of that whole theme of self-assurance and confidence and empowerment and using your voice for what you believe to be the betterment of yourself and the betterment of all. There's definitely that kind of boost in good luck and just kind of having this mindset that if I think positive and if I think good things will come to me, then they will. This is kind of also a time that really asks us to disrupt our routines and kind of put our desires and our drives at the forefront of everything that we're doing. So I think those are all really big and good themes that we're working with at this time. We are also moving a lot of our own personal challenges and obstacles aside right now in order to focus on our innate gifts, and those things are really at the forefront right now. So really focusing on what it is that you bring to the table and really kind of running with that and kind of saying that, like, there's nothing that's going to get in my way. What I'm doing is what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it damn well. So that's kind of just some of the energies and the themes in the astrology kind of in the sky right now. So I'm very excited to bring this reading to you all tonight. Hopefully I'll have it posted as well by tonight so that it can be to you all by tomorrow when this full moon is happening. We're in the pre-shadow period right now. So that has been really fun, and I hope everyone is using that to their advantage at this time. The deck that I'll be using this time, I was going to use the Aquarian deck again, but I just used it for the last collective reading I did. So this time I'm going to be using the City Mystic deck. It's made by a group of psychics and readers based in New York City. And so it has a lot of photos and things that were all taken in New York City. I don't know if you can see that very well, but there it is. All right. I will refrain from rambling on too much, and we'll get started with this reading. If you would like a personal reading from me, you can reach out anytime. And if I have the time, which I usually will make the time, I would love to do a reading for you. Spirit, truly grateful. What messages do we have in store for the collective tonight? What messages do we have? I'll take that. All right, I'll take those as well. Okay. So we start out this reading with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And so what that tells me is there could be some financial things that are burdening you right now. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that are burdening you, but it could just be that right now you're focusing on your finances, or you're realizing that somehow you've been stretched a bit thin in regards to your finances. And if that's not the case, then it could just be there's something that you've been saving for, or something that you've been working towards that you are realizing is going to take a lot more effort and a lot more work than you originally maybe once thought it would. And so when I see a Queen of Pentacles, I just see financial success and financial well-being. And it's not to say that you aren't feeling that or not focusing on that or moving towards that, but it's just to say that with this reversal, it could be that things are a little turned upside down right now. So it really could be, collectively speaking, kind of just about, the kind of capitalist society that we're living in and how we're seeing that fail so many people right now. So even if personally you are financially thriving and financially in a good place or in a good position, it is important to realize that there are so many people that are not. And especially, during this entire kind of second or third leg of this pandemic, I think it's just really important to recognize right now that obviously our government, air quotes, government, whatever they are doing, has not necessarily been enough to help, and that so many people right now are experiencing extreme financial hardship. And I think if we aren't experiencing that firsthand in our own lives, we definitely know people that are, we definitely see people that are. And so this Queen of Pentacles in reverse just talks to me a lot about kind of challenges as far as finances go. Challenges as far as it could even just be representing of this sort of late stage capitalism that we're in right now. And I say late stage because it is very clear that it is failing people as a whole. We have people that are so fucking rich, they're like building spaceships to go to space. I can't even wrap my mind around that. But in the name of trying to stay on track here and not going on a tangent about eating the rich, I just see a lot of financial struggle, a lot of financial hardship, a lot of financial burden. So of course I think during a full moon is a great time to be focusing on, manifesting financial stability and manifesting financial abundance. But I think this is more of a message for everyone to realize the ways in which our current systems are kind of failing a lot of people right now. And next I have the Ace of Pentacles. So to kind of tie that in with that last message there, this is a new beginning. Pentacles are always kind of finances cards, money cards, work cards, business cards, things of that nature. So I have a new beginning card here with the Ace. That is number one. So it kind of says, or kind of tells me that we could be moving in a new direction as far as finances go. So it could be that you personally are starting a new job, or you personally are kind of thinking about money in a new way. Because a lot of times I feel as if this message of not being able to change our situations, but changing the way we think about it, I really do think that that's important because, of course, people who are experiencing extreme poverty, they can't just change their situation overnight. That's not obviously possible, especially with the way things are made. It sort of feels like very hard to get ahead, and that sort of thing. So essentially what I'm seeing with the Ace of Pentacles here is that there's going to be a lot of reshaping and rebranding and re-understanding the way we think about money, the way we think about work, the way we think about finances. I was not expecting this reading, of course, to start out bam with a lot of pentacles here, but it's obviously something that is at the focal point right now. I think, what am I wanting to say here? I guess just the way that we value work as a whole in our society is a little bit detrimental. I think people, just lately I've been thinking a lot about how my friends who are sex workers or my friends who are in the service industry are struggling so much right now and always fighting for their rights or even just fighting to survive, and it's really disheartening to see. And so I really just think as a whole we have a lot of work to do as far as reframing the way we think about work, the way we think about money. Should people really have to pay to have water, to have food, to have basic needs? To me that's always seemed a little strange. So I really think as a whole, right now there's just a really big focus on this sort of push for a new beginning or reform, as far as money goes, as far as finances goes, the way we view money, the way we force people to, break their backs and work nonstop. I feel like people spend the majority of their lives at their jobs, and I just feel as if that's really no way to live, and that's really no way for us to thrive as a whole, as a society, as we've kind of seen by the way that the system is failing us, by the way that we've seen that these kind of ways that we have set things up are not necessarily working out for everyone. So yeah, Queen of Pentacles in reverse, problematic, financial burden, sort of not being in the best shape we can be as far as finances go. And like I said, even if you are in your personal life, which I'm happy for you, I'm sure you've worked very hard to be there, but we kind of need to move towards some new ways of viewing money, some new ways of viewing work, some new ways of taking care of those around us, who are, for lack of a better word, less fortunate, or who are working just as hard but are getting paid absolute shit. So I think those are just some themes that are coming up right now, things to think about, not only for our personal lives and for our personal selves, but for the whole, the collective, for everyone. So next I have the Seven of Swords here. And I think that Seven of Swords really ties in to these first messages here because the swords are all about action and kind of the way we move and the way we act. Wands are sort of thinking and sort of in our heads and in that sort of air space, but the swords are very much so tangible movement, tangible things, actions that we take. So I definitely think this Seven of Swords is coming out as a message of fighting for your rights. And so just like a small example in my life recently is that when I just recently started my new job, I asked for more money than what they had offered me. And I just said, look, I really want this job. I really want to do this, but you're going to have to pay me this amount in order for this to be sustainable for me. And so I think really advocating for yourself, and being willing to ask for more and being willing to use your voice to say, I don't think I'm being compensated fairly right now for what I'm doing, or if I am going to be doing this, I do feel that I need this certain amount more of money. So feel free to ask for more. Feel free to take action when it comes to advocating for yourself. Feel free to take action when it comes to advocating for others, and talk with your coworkers about what you're being paid. Because these sorts of conversations and these sorts of changes aren't made by all of us staying quiet and, suffering kind of in silence. So I think this Seven of Swords card is very much so about action and advocating for ourselves. And I think that relates to finances, but it also relates to all other areas of our lives. If you see something, say something, kind of that whole idea and that whole thing. So those are the first three messages we have here. I hope some of that kind of made sense or resonated with you all. And so we will draw some more cards to see where we go next. Spirit's really grateful. What further messages do you have here? Okay, so the first three cards I pulled out in this reading were all minor arcana cards, which are kind of like more chill, more relaxed, more easygoing cards. But for these three, these are all major arcana cards. So these are like bigger messages, bigger, kind of bigger energies that are sort of just like stronger slaps in the face that are trying to tell us things more abruptly and more outright, kind of less subtle messages. So I have the Chariot here. And the Chariot card really just talks to me about our home life and kind of how that pertains to us in a sense of community. So I guess what I'm trying to say is when I see this card and what I feel for this message right now is that a lot of us are and should be really focused on building a comfortable and safe home for ourselves. And I don't just mean like, you know, a house, because there are many people out there that create homes that aren't your traditional house. You know, people live in their vans, people have communities of tents with different people. People, you know, live in trailers and live in tiny homes and all sorts of different homes. And whatever your home is to you, kind of building that into a safe and comfortable place, and as best as you can. That's a really big theme right now. So there could be a lot of nesting going on. This is a card of Cancer, so there's very much so that nurturing, kind of mothering, emotional energy that's coming through right now. And so I really think that building community, having people around you can trust, is really, really important right now. And kind of being able to reach out to those people and knowing that people are there for you and being that sort of person for those in your life as well. So this Chariot card I think is just really important as far as a sense of home goes. And so I think a really big theme right now as well, as, you know, kind of the financial struggle that we're seeing, our kind of whole country, society, human beings in general go through. That also pertains and relates to housing and our safety and our communities and the way we work together to keep one another safe and to make sure that one another are taken care of. So I just think that's something really big and important to think about right now. Thinking about how you take part in your community and what you're doing for your community, and if what you are doing is kind of adding an enriching factor, or, you know, or if you're more of a draining factor. And so I think really just kind of using, you know, what you're good at, or using your tools to kind of, everyone has different things to bring to the table. And so I think as it pertains to your home or as it relates to your community, just kind of realizing your strengths as well as weaknesses, bringing what you can to the table, and allowing other people to kind of fill in the blanks or fill in those holes, things that you know you're not good at, you know someone else is good at. And so you allow them to step up and take the lead on those things, but you know when it's your time to step up and take the lead on the things that you are confident in, that you are good at. And so, yeah, that's kind of just the message I'm getting there. Just your home life, your home self, your home base, creating that really comfortable and safe kind of fortress or oasis for yourself. And everyone deserves that. So that definitely also relates to the financial messages we got. The very first part of this reading, just kind of understanding that everyone deserves that. So it's not really cool for us to say like, oh, you know, houseless people or homeless people are such a burden on our society, because it's our failures as a whole that have led them there. It's our sort of neglect as a society that has put these people in this position. And so I think that's just something that I'm really being asked to share right now that we should think about. I hear people talk about homeless people and houseless people and drug addicts and people who are struggling to find that safety and find that home and find that community. I hear people saying really negative things about those people a lot. And it's really disheartening, because I think we should be trying to uplift those people and, bring those people up with us, instead of saying like, we need to get rid of them. They are, a burden on our society, or they are lesser than us. I think that that's just kind of the theme or the message that I'm getting here. All of those different things, so many things. Next I have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse here. So the Wheel of Fortune to me usually is a message of kind of just allowing the universe to do what it will, and kind of relinquishing your power and sort of saying like, all right, I'm a very small piece of everything that's going on around me, and so I don't have a lot of control. And I'm just going to let Jesus take the fucking wheel, because I don't know anymore. But when I see this card in reverse like this is a reminder that there's so much power and so much control that you do have when it comes to using your voice, when it comes to advocating for yourself, when it comes to advocating for others. I think very easily we can all say that we're comfortable with the sorts of injustices that we see every day, with the sort of drama and chaos and, sort of unfair things that we see going on every day. It would be very easy to stay complacent and say, you know what, there's nothing I can do. I'm just gonna keep, staying in my lane, staying in my little routine, staying complacent, not saying shit about it. But this is a message that's not really the right thing to do. You need to say something. You need to speak up. You need to do what you feel is right in order to help yourself, in order to help others. And that's just kind of the message I'm getting, that maybe you have a lot more control over certain situations, a lot more than you like to give yourself credit for, or there's a lot more that you could be doing. And not to call anyone out that people aren't doing their part, because everyone is doing their part in small ways, and everyone has different energy levels to do that work with. So I think basically this is just a message that it's not really a good time to just give up and say fuck it. It's definitely more of a time to use that optimism, that optimistic boost that this Leo sun is giving us, and to use our voice and our power and our, drive to really... Sorry, my girlfriend is calling me. I'll have to ignore that and call her back in a second. Okay, so essentially, using your voice, using that sense of empowerment, using that confidence in the things that you know you're good at, the things that you know in your heart of hearts are right, and using your power and yourself to push those things forward and to, you know, stand up for things when you know that they're right or when they're wrong, you know, call them out as well. So however that pertains to you, however that relates to your situation, I think it relates to all of our situations in a sense of we shouldn't just give up right now. We should definitely be working together, you know, and all kind of, like I was saying a little bit before, using our talents and our things that we know we're good at, our strengths, and offering those up. And, you know, knowing our weaknesses as well, and when to step back and allow other people to use their strengths. So yeah, that's kind of the message I'm getting there. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. You do have a say in things. You do have some control in things. You do have a push still and a voice still, and you should use that. The Hierophant is the next card I have here. And the Hierophant is really, to me, about kind of going inward and pulling from within yourself. And so when you're feeling weak, when you're feeling tired, when you're feeling low, really going inside of yourself and saying, okay, I need to rest. I need to take time for myself. I need to take care of myself. And in order to help other people or to fill up others' cups, I have to really make sure that mine is full. And so the Hierophant to me is also this very like personal power card. It's very much so believing in yourself and kind of being a master of your own energy, in a sense of not wasting it on things that you know are kind of a waste. And so the Hierophant to me is very much like a very enlightened kind of energy. I love the imagery here with this one. I'm gonna try and make it so that you guys can see it. But yeah, I love the Hierophant card. I wish I could remember what sign the Hierophant relates to. But nonetheless, it's a very kind of inner strength card. And so I think a lot of us right now are drawing on our inner strength. And a lot of us right now are maybe kind of coming out of a funk, or kind of coming out of this dark night of the soul kind of time frame that we had maybe been stuck in. And so I think, man, 2 Aquarius full moons, I tell you, this has really been a time. So definitely drawing on our inner strength right now and our inner power, and pulling that out and saying, you know what? It's not over till it's over. So those are some of the messages I had for you guys today. I am going to draw one more card to kind of bring this around full circle and end it with. But happy full moon in Aquarius to all of you. And of course, I hope this reading finds you well. It went on a little longer than I thought it would, but that is okay. Spiritually grateful. Give us a final message here. 2 popped out, so we're just going to go ahead and take those. King of Swords, Ace of Swords in reverse. So this King of Swords is definitely the highest end of mastery when it comes to our action. So we've sat through this kind of thinking period. Excuse me. And this card is a reminder to be confident in your actions and your choices moving forward. So when it comes to that empowerment, that self-assurance, that inner power that we all have, or knowing our strengths, this card is a reminder that when you move in that direction and when you move in that energy, to be confident in that, and to, remember all the lessons that you've learned along the way, because those things weren't for nothing. And it's going to come in handy, and it's going to, how can I say this? It's going to, hard things that you've been through, tough things that you've overcome, those things you will be using to your advantage one day. And that day might be sooner than later. And just don't be afraid when that time comes, because you are here now for a reason. And so I hope that doesn't sound like too woo-woo. If it does, what the fuck ever. Y'all already know I'm a freaking weirdo, so it doesn't really matter. Essentially, have confidence in yourself when it comes time to show up and to do what's right and to act and to take action. So I love that for us. I hope that makes sense to you all. It hardly makes sense to me, but you know what? We're gonna work with it. Ace of Swords in reverse. More swords. This has been a really heavy Pentacles and Swords reading. Changes, reform as far as money and finances and capitalism goes. That's all on the forefront. That's all coming up. That's all a huge theme right now, as we can see by the world we live in. Last message I have for us here, Ace of Swords in reverse. I don't love ending it on this, but it really just is new beginnings. Kind of things as we have known them kind of failing us, and realizing that, coming to terms with that, accepting that, and learning new ways to go about things. Learning new ways to deal with things, learning new ways to think about things, realizing that maybe things we thought were true are not always necessarily. And maybe things that we had thought about in certain ways at certain times, we can change them still. So yeah, those are the messages I've got for you all today, tonight, whatever. I hope that resonated with you all, that you were able to take something from that reading. I will mention once again, if you would like a personal reading, feel free to reach out to me. And yeah, that's all. Thank you so much. Bye.